Well, hello and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwen, writer on TV Times, What's on TV and TV and Satellite Week magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases for the week starting Friday the 19th of May 2023, including new celebrity reality show The Family Stallone on Paramount Plus, and the Disney Plus reboot of 1992 film White Men Can't Jump, about a pair of basketball hustlers.
We'll also be checking out the new coming-of-age drama Primo on Freevee and visiting the high desert with Patricia Arguette and Matt Dillon on Apple TV+. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Sheridan Smith, our own Sheridan Smith, will star in a Paramount Plus thriller called The Castaways, which is based on the Lucy Clarke novel about a woman who battles to survive on a desert island after a plane crash. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, in the Apple TV Plus drama Echo Valley, from the creator of Mayor of Easttown, we all love that, Julianne Moore will play a horse trainer in rural Pennsylvania whose life is turned upside down when her blood-stained daughter arrives on her doorstep. Ooh.
Okay, well, some interesting offerings this week, bit of variety for you. We seem to be doing a lot of movie reboots, don't we, these days? And this week's no exception. Arriving on Friday the 19th of May on Disney Plus, it is White Men Can't Jump. And here's a clip.
You think you're slick, huh? Just showing up to court dressed like a dumbass, acting like you can't hoop.
You assumed I couldn't hoop because I'm white, which is incredibly outdated.
No, I assumed you couldn't hoop because you were dressed like a white girl at Whole Foods.
Where the love go?
It's really hard to plan for the future when we're always worried about money because you're out here living in a fantasy.
My 30-day detox program. You want a free sample?
Nah, I ain't drinking no boo-boo juice.
I don't know if you remember the original film, Hannah, with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, also Rosie Perez, who was very good. But basically it was about a pair of basketball hustlers. As the title suggests, one is white, the other is black. And they teamed up to earn money on the basketball courts. So this is a reboot. One of the notable things about it is it was the last role, I think, for Lance Reddick, who people will know from The Wire. He passed away in March. This new version stars Sinqua Walls, who plays Kamal, who was once a basketball player with a promising-looking career, but it all went wrong. And he teams up with Jeremy, who is played by the rapper Jack Harlow, who I have to say makes a decent fist of it, considering he's not really an actor by trade. And he is a former basketball star who's nowadays, he's a bit hard up and he's kind of selling people like detox kind of regimes down at the local gym. I don't know about this one. There's a lot of banter in it. There's a lot of arguing. There's some great hoop action on the court, but it didn't really grip me, to be honest. I didn't particularly care about the characters. I did find the Jeremy character quite funny, but I got to admit, I didn't really see the need to remake this one. I think basketball fans and people who are much younger than me will probably enjoy it a lot more than I did. But as I said, good to see Reddick. He's playing Benji, he was the father and coach of Kamal, who now has multiple sclerosis. Yeah, I couldn't really get into it, but the music is great and it looks good. And yeah, there's lots of kind of hoop action, as I said, but it wasn't really for me. I don't know what you thought, Hannah.
Well, you asked me originally whether if I remember the original, and I do, and I always worry about remakes, and this is exactly why I think you're 100% right. I completely agree with you. I just don't think it resonates in the same way. I don't think it needed to be remade. It was fine as it was. if you like basketball, you'll like this. The story runs the same track. It's nothing different. But I'm not sure what more you're getting from this. And I think that's the problem. Is it just modernising for modernising's sake and then ruining what a sort of decent memory of it was? Yes, probably. So for me, I don't think I was quite excited actually about this one, because I did think, I've been wrong in recent times. The remakes have been very good and I have really enjoyed them. And actually, new technology means everything is so much better very often. So I kind of went into this with a bit of an open mind, but I have to say I did feel a bit disappointed by it.
Fair enough. Over on Paramount Plus, arriving on Thursday the 18th of May. Well, we've been looking forward to this. It's the Family Stallone, and here's a clip.
I can't believe you guys are actually doing a reality show.
Who would have thought you on TV like this? You're welcome.
Hey, yo. Embrace the moment and not be worried about what other people think.
Cheers to family.
Not how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
We're Stallones. We can keep it together.
No surprises that I've got this one to review, obviously, and I'm so chuffed to be doing so. This is just unbelievable. It never fails to amaze me that no matter how much money you've got, you're still prepared to lay your life bare for everyone to see, to invite the cameras in and to see you in the perceived rawest state, I suppose, because let's be honest, it feels very scripted. But I have to say, as with all reality shows, I did quite enjoy it, to be honest with you. But I had to look this up because, of course, Sylvester Stallone and his wife, she filed for divorce last year. And you'll notice in this whole thing that it's all quite, we're such a great family. Family's where it's at. We love each other. It's all just so saccharine and sweet. And then I had thought, no, hang on a minute. So it only lasted a month, that divorce. They're back on and it's all okay again. So don't worry about that. That's just no problem at all. And there's the children, the daughters. One of them wants to be an actor like he was. And my favourite part is, I think at the very beginning, where it just shows him, he's done Rocky, he's done this, he's done that. And this is showing him as the family man. And there he is brushing the cat. And all the girls are suitably Kardashian, like living their best life in their 20s, as they freely admit themselves. And yeah, I was hooked. I can't lie. I was absolutely hooked. I want to believe they're exactly like that. I want to believe that they are just so happy all the time. But of course, there are ups and downs like that 1 month divorce. But don't worry, it's back on. Ian, did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy episode 1. It's very white, their house, isn't it? Often these very expensive houses, everything's white. So, like you, I did Google the marriage because Jennifer Flavin, his wife, she just looks so young, doesn't she? She almost looks like the older sister. Anyway, so yes, I caught up on all that news. Do you remember that series Star Stories, which kind of spoofed the lives and careers of... It was a bit like that in a way, because the best bit for me, you'd imagine in Star Stories, what they would do is they'd have Sylvester Stallone going for coffee with Dolph Lundgren. And that actually happens. And not only that, Al Pacino's there as well. It's just brilliant. And Al Pacino's great value as well. So I don't think I'll watch any more than episode 1, to be honest. I think I've seen enough. I did enjoy it. I don't think there's much more to say. I mean, they're not as crazy as, say, the Osbournes, are they? That was almost like a bit of a freak show. But I think Stallone comes over quite well. I agree with you. It does sound a bit scripted when they're saying, like, he goes all Rambo when we bring a boyfriend home. He seems quite a sweetie, really. I think he comes across quite well. The girls seem perfectly nice considering they're like showbiz kids. So yeah, I did quite enjoy it, but I probably don't need to see any more. Next up, we move to Apple TV Plus for a new comedy drama series which arrived on Wednesday the 17th of May. It's called High Desert, and here's a clip.
What are you supposed to be?
A real PI? What are you playing at?
I'm not hiring.
I'm a natural detective. You need me, and I need this job.
be here Monday morning at 9 a.m.
I don't get up before 11. When I had money, we all had money.
From dealing drugs.
It was a little pot, maybe some hash.
There was cocaine.
Well, that was much later, and I didn't sell it.
8 episodes to this one, Hannah. The first 3 available from Wednesday, and then they drop weekly. I didn't really know anything about it, and it's one of those shows within 5 minutes of watching episode 1, I knew I was onto a winner. So this stars Patricia Arguette, and she is playing Peggy Newman. And at the beginning of episode 1, Peggy is hosting, Peggy and her partner, played by Matt Dillon, they're hosting a big family party at their beautiful house in California. They've got a swimming pool. All the kids are there. And suddenly there's a drugs raid by the police. And they're flushing all their drugs down the kitchen waste disposal. So then we flash forward 10 years later. So the husband's in prison and Peggy she's working in this, it's like a recreation of a sort of frontier town. It's called Pioneer Town. And she's acting as a saloon barmaid. She comes flying in, swinging from a chandelier to join in this big bar brawl. She is great in the role, and this is an absolutely fantastic role as well. She's a recovering drug addict. She's on methadone. The script is superb, as is the characterization. And basically her relatives are saying, because the mother's recently died and she lives in the mother's house, they're saying, look, we're not going to pay the mortgage anymore. You've got to get a proper job. So this is where it gets even better. And this is where it goes a bit Better Call Saul, I think. If you like Better Call Saul, I very much think you will like this. She decides to try and get a job working for this private investigator, Bruce, who is played by Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, who plays Raymond's brother in that classic American sitcom. And this guy, Bruce, he's a rubbish private investigator, and he's losing money. He's selling stuff on eBay to try and keep him going. So she turns out and tries to persuade him to take her on. And there's lots of good stuff. She comes across an art scam, which is being fronted by this mystic guru. It's just brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to binge watch it, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. What did you think, Hannah?
Well, just like Patricia Arguette, I was quite addicted to this, to be honest with you. I mean, it is one of those things you just want to keep going back to, and like you, I think I'll binge watch. I mean, she's just so good in this part, and I think it's quite a rich tapestry because there's so many layers to this. It's not just sort of, you're in one time, then you jump on 10 years, and the husband's inside, and you see her fighting, like many people say. I suppose it's incredibly relatable because, like many people say, once you're an addict, you're always an addict. And if it's not addicted to one thing, it's addicted to something else because you've got an addictive personality or nature. And that's exactly her, isn't it? And she carries this whole thing, I think, because you go from, she's such a character, but and sometimes does not great things, but she's really likable and also really sad story, I think. So I sort of found myself every emotion being pulled at, if you like. I thought it was really, really good, and I want to watch more.
Good stuff. Okay, we're going to finish up on Freevee with a new comedy series called Primo, arriving on Friday the 19th of May. And here is a clip.
How many uncles you got?
5. It feels like 50 most of the time, though.
Let's go, guys. We don't have all day.
My dad left when I was little, so all my uncles are always around, and they're super protective of my mom and me.
What's that feel like?
Mostly it's like being inside a cloud of bees, except the bees are always cussing and punching at each other.
Yep, so this is season 1, and there are 8 episodes. And this is a kind of coming-of-age comedy, I guess. And it's very light-hearted, very funny, and it follows a 16-year-old lad called Rafa, who's played by the Good Fight's Ignacio Diaz Silverio. And he lives in Texas, and when he was younger, his father left. We don't know a huge amount more about that, but his mum's brothers, his uncles, sort of guard him with their lives, and there are 5 of them. And it's just quite funny because each of these uncles are incredibly different. You've got Rolly, Mike, Ryan, Jay, and Mondo. And he doesn't know what to do with his life, whether it comes to schooling, whether it comes to girlfriends, whatever. He just doesn't know what to do, what to wear. And they all give him different pieces of advice, and incredibly different, these brothers. And it becomes really complicated when he meets this girl he particularly likes. You see him, in an outfit that, he probably shouldn't be wearing because it's a bit ridiculous, but one of his uncles has told him to wear. And he's just a really confused lad, and I think it's quite light-hearted. It's not very real. It doesn't, I think it's highly unlikely that scenario happens in real life. But it was easy viewing. It made me laugh in places. It made me cry in places because I felt so sorry for this poor lad. And of course, the mum is just a fiery woman. She kind of holds it all together in the middle, and I guess a bit of feel-good factor to it. Easy viewing, but not a lot more to it. I can't see many more seasons. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I thought it was quite charming. I really liked Diaz Silverio as Rafa. Good performance. What I felt about it was that the 5 uncles, there didn't seem to be a huge breadth of characterization to them. They're always giving him conflicting advice. So one's always going on about the military, another one's kind of a bit hippie-ish and about, the universe will provide. Then there's one who's kind of not very successful accountant. So to me, those sort of characters felt more like, well, we talked about Everyone Loves Raymond earlier, felt like maybe belonged in a sort of studio sitcom, live audience type situation. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's just a pretty light-hearted bit of escapist fun, isn't it? Now we've got to that time, Hannah, where we discover what you've been binging on this week, so please reveal all.
Well, it'll be no surprise to you if you listen to us on Thursday night on our, what do we call it, Ian? Sister podcast?
We do.
Our sister podcast about Eurovision. And of course, I watched Eurovision all evening, and Hannah Waddingham, and well, it was pretty awful, wasn't it, our entry in the end, second from last, but there we go, we had a crack at it, so I enjoyed that. How about you, Ian?
Well, having come to the end of the BAFTA winning Jeffrey Dahmer drama on Netflix, I wanted more of the same, so I watched the documentary series Conversations with a Killer, the John Gacy tapes, which is also on Netflix. And that's an incredible story. I didn't really know about Gacy and his crimes, but it's quite chilling. Now, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offerings on Bingewatch. So what's on the menu, Hannah?
Well, Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen play old college pals in quirky comedy series Platonic on Apple TV+.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger makes his TV debut as a veteran CIA operative in the new Netflix action comedy series 4 Bar. So, sorry about that. So, we look forward to those and more. But in the meantime,
keep watching.